Hi everyone, my name is Priyanka and welcome to my vlog. Today we are going to talk about how you can become the best version of yourself. A lot of you are aware of your hidden talents, a lot of you are aware of your unique gifts, but it takes a lot of courage to come forth and use those unique gifts because first we listen to a lot of people around us, we listen to the opinions of, we take on so much of emotional feedback from people, misconceptions about life, and we become so fearful of this life, fearful of our own talents, fearful of the outcomes, that we create this belief in ourselves that we are going to fail miserably. And that belief in itself is the number one reason why you are unable to bring forth a new version of yourself, the version that can lead a life from a point of well being and from a point of joy, or of, I say, from a point of stability. It's as simple as being stable in your mind and enjoying this life to the fullest. But if you agree with me that right now your life is not looking from that point of view, you are burdened by your own thoughts. And because you're burdened by your own thoughts, you feel miserable in this life of yours. And today, I'm going to teach you how I live my life thinking I'm the best version of myself, how I don't let my own thinking disturb my mental balance, because it's all about being stable in this mind of yours, because this mind is very tricky. If you don't teach it the right tricks, it's a monkey that's gone loose and it's jumping from one thought to the other, and that thought is not something that's going to benefit you in the long run. It's going to take you down, it's going to impact your life, impact your relationships, impact the money that you're making, impact general well-being. If you are somebody who's facing a lot of health issues, financial issues, relationship issues, then you need to understand that it's all coming in from your mindset. The first point is that you need to understand the areas of your life that need improvement, and these are going to be areas that are showcasing some sort of disparity or discord, as I say, between what you want to be, or where you want to be, to where you are right now and what you're going through. So pick out those areas, make a list, and understand what needs to be changed. And whenever you're picking out these areas, do write down what you're thinking, because, as I said, your thoughts are very sneaky. Maintain a journal, just write down what is it that you've been thinking all day regarding these areas. And once you are able to read those very sneaky thoughts, you will find those thoughts to be absolutely irrelevant. So you will start cutting them down, cut those thoughts down. Simply write them down and then just scratch a line across them. And now reprogram your mind. Tell your mind a new sentence. And whenever it's repeating that old thought, you introduce this new sentence, that down in a journal. So let's say you are picking out a very toxic partner. Every time you meet somebody, you don't pay attention to the way they're talking, you don't pay attention to their actions, whether those actions match their words. You simply keep on paying attention to how you are treating them. So this is a flaw that you've noticed about yourself. You write that down, and then you write down how you need to improve that flaw, how you need to act better for yourself. And this is where that mindset is going to change. Now you're going to say to me, how does that improve my life? uh, I'm not acting as the best version of myself. No, you are not acting as the best version of yourself here, because you have not identified what you've been doing wrong. Until unless you identify what you've been doing wrong in this life of yours, how is it that you can become the best version of yourself? That best version can only come, you can only act best version of yourself once you realize where you're going wrong. The second point is all about identifying who you are, because so far what you think you are and who you are exactly, there is a big gap. Now, this gap is because you are operating from a chaotic mindset. So, this chaotic mindset, as I said, has been judging people. This chaotic mindset judges your environment, you blame others, but you never do an introspection of your own thought process. So, there is a gap between who you are and what you think you are. So if you are creating this version of yourself that is based on what others are doing around you and how they are making your life a big challenge, then you can never create a better version of yourself because you're stuck. You're stuck blaming others. You're stuck doing that same old pattern of thinking where you blame somebody else for the way your life is going right now rather than taking up the onus of your own thought process. Now, people are going to say some nasty words to you, people are going to show some nasty side to you, they're going to behave badly with you. Yes, because that is how humans are behaving. You're not supposed to sit and find out why this person has done this to you because they are so close to you. How could they do this to you? Or your life is terrible because somebody walked out of your life, you love them so much, or your parents are not really treating you well, you're their child and they've been giving you a lot of trouble, or your spouse doesn't understand you, or your children don't value you. You have a lot of versions of this person that you have created, this identity that you have created, and it's all about how life is unfair to you. Isn't it true? Life is always going to be unfair if you keep looking at it from those tinted glasses. Yes, you are not changing your life around by blaming others for the way your life is right now. That's not the way it happens. It's only going to happen when you are able to take actions about the way you've been reacting to this world. Now, you have a lot of reaction to give, you have a lot of vehemence, or you have an agenda to take revenge from people who've treated you badly. How does it make you feel better? You're never going to get into that phase of mental stability or well being until unless you drop that emotions baggage that you've been carrying in your mind and your heart, because there is no way that you can stay afloat. You're going to sink very badly. Mentally, you're putting yourself down every time you find yourself trying to understand why the world is unfair to you. So we bridge that gap. We can only bridge that gap once we go into a phase of silence, because till now we've been thinking from a very chaotic mind and we are not able to find out what we are actually made of. So once you realize that the only way you can get to know your own self is through silence, you're going to find yourself sitting in silence a lot more than sitting in that chaotic mind of yours, because silence teaches you something extraordinary, and that is how you have been looking at things. You've never taken a minute to understand what you've been doing to yourself. This is you. This version of you that you've created is all on you. It's not on other people. It's not on God. It's not on how your life has turned out so far. The third point is to create a better version of yourself, you must find out how you are reacting to situations coming your way. Now, most times we don't pay attention to how we are reacting to situations in our life. But this is where the change has to come in, because every time you are faced with a new challenge or something new in your life, you will find yourself thinking that you are not capable of it, that you lack the confidence, or that others are going to find out how you are not the right fit. So, this is where you must understand how your mind is operating now. So, every time a new opportunity comes your way, see how you're reacting to it. Now, most times, what people do is they create this roadblock that wasn't there before. The moment somebody tells them, "Oh, you can do this," their instant reply is, "I cannot do it." Don't know something, you can always read upon it, but at least take a step forward to an opportunity coming your way. Become courageous, and the only way you can become courageous is by telling yourself something on repeat, and that is, so far I'm the best version of myself and I can become better. And I can take on some new tasks in this life of mine by simply upgrading my skill set. If you are somebody who's lazy, who procrastinates a lot, then this one is not for you. People usually do is they put those talents or skill sets on the back burner. because the world was tough or they didn't have the right circumstances. Even if they're given an opportunity to use those skill sets, they don't do that because it's something that their mind is not ready to say yes to. So you have to get your mind to say yes to utilization of your skill sets. If something is coming your way that's absolutely out of your realm, or is something that doesn't match what you want to do in life and where you want to be, then yes, you can say no. But I'm talking about opportunities that are going to uplift your life, and yet you end up saying no because you have this roadblock or this mindset where you feel that you're not good enough. So, whenever that's coming your way, you are noticing this roadblock or noticing this repeated pattern of thought where you keep on saying no, change that version. Keep on noting down where you're saying no. And this is where the mindset change is going to come. Moment before you say no, just take a breather and ask yourself what my previous version would have said to this opportunity. Probably the previous version would have said no. Then go back to a time where you actually said no and how it made you feel afterwards. And that is where that mindset is going to change, because now you understand that you said no for no reason at all, that you could have done it. And now that the opportunity is presenting itself again in maybe some other form, you are going to say yes because you went back, experienced that regret, and now you're changing that mindset. Because mindset is something that can be changed, can be altered, but so far you've never practiced altering that mindset of yours. And this is where, once you alter that mindset, you are going to say yes to wonderful opportunities coming your way, because so far you've only learned to say no in life, but now you will learn to say yes to some great things coming your way. Now, the fourth point is to become a better version of ourselves, we have to overcome some fears, some really dreadful fears we have incorporated in our life. Fears of failure, because our parents or our school or our peers, they instill this sort of fear in our life where they told us that if you do this and if you fail, people are going to make a laughing stock out of you, or you're going to ruin your name, ruin our surname. And as a child, you picked it on, and as an adult, you cannot let go. This whole reputation thing is good, but at the same time, it's bad also. And the bad version is where you cannot overcome some very basic fears in your life: fear of rejection or fear of failure. And this is where you must change that mindset of yours, because the better version of yourself doesn't really pay attention to how the world is reacting to you. So I'm not talking about how people disrespect others, or people say, oh, I don't care about what the world is thinking, and then I go and do something really bad. I put on a very bad behavior in public places, or I deal with people in a very bad way, and this is the version of me that's going to showcase that I'm better than everybody else. No, this is not what we are talking about here. We're not talking about those kind of people. We're not saying you have to put on a behavior which is putting others down. No. The idea here is that this fear that you've picked on in this life of yours, from, as I say, from your parents, from your, even from your co-workers, you keep on taking on these fears even as an adult. You never understand that you must put a stop to these fears. And that is why I urge people not to talk about their fears to others. I see people who are complete strangers and they're talking about their fears. That's the most common topic among people. And this is something that must be stopped, because if you keep on talking about your fears, if you keep on talking about how the world is going to betray you, how people are going to betray you, how things are never going to work out for you, then yes, you will never be able to find a better version of yourself or better version of this world. You will never be able to create great circumstances in your life. You will never be able to lead a better life, because every time you talk about a fear, every time you talk about something that's going to go wrong, in your life, you're actually attracting that kind of energy into your life. And it's not some hocus pocus thing. You've realized it so far that every time you talk about your fears to people, you come back home, or you simply spend the night just before you go to sleep thinking about all the things that are going to go wrong the next day. Or probably you wake up with a lot of fear. And this is where that mindset has to be changed, because the better version of yourself doesn't get scared easily, doesn't ponder on how it's going to affect your reputation. See, reputation is all about having great values. If you have great values, if you treat other people well, then that is all you need. But if you are basing your reputation on how people are going to react, if you're failing in your business or if you're failing in your marriage, then yes, people are going to react, people are going to say, no matter what, even if you find a lot of success, people are going to talk bad about you behind your back, because this is what people do. Most of the people don't appreciate great individuals. This is how the world is turning out to be. And you have to cut across all of this fear from your mind, because reputation, or that surname, that is going to get spoiled if you take some action which is not approved by others. So you do this whole version where you undermine your own self, you undermine your own thinking process, your own intelligence, and go and say yes to everybody around you, because you are so scared of trying to conserve that reputation. But you know that if you take that action, it's not going to affect anybody but you, and that action is required to improve your life. I'm not talking about not improving your life here. There is a difference. It's not about walking away from a great relationship and saying, oh, this person said, don't worry about your reputation, walk away from a great relationship. No. Or walk away from a great opportunity. No. I'm talking the exact opposite. You must do things that are wonderful for you without really thinking about the opinion of others, because you've been paying so much attention to what others are going to think that you don't put in an effort to improve your life. We all have unique pattern of thinking, and that is how our life is shaping up. So my life is very different from yours, and your life is very different from even your siblings, because of a unique pattern of thinking. And once we analyze our thinking process, we can improve our life, we can make better decisions, we can cut down on people, or we can spot people who are not good for us. And we can also improve our health, because we are going to cut down on all the food items that we're consuming every day that are not benefiting us. So if you love my vlog, do like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.